Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Dan. And today, as you can see, I'm still doing my Disney movie marathon. So of course, yes, of course, I'll be talking about their TV shows, movies, theme parks, merchandising, whatever the case may be. I guess in this case, yes, it's gonna be a TV show, Loki, the first season. And yeah, season one, I thought I would just talk about this. They're trying to do like a multiverse kind of a thing, I guess you can say, because that's basically the premise of this. There's like multiple Lokis from different universes because Loki himself had to just meddle with the timeline, which of course is supposed to be a reference to what occurred in the in Endgame and whatnot, or Infinity War, or whatever. I guess you can say what happened in the movies definitely affected what happened here because he was trying to be a trickster, messing with the time or whatever. But yeah, I don't care for watching or reviewing TV shows. Now, when it comes to talking about comic book superhero stuff, they're not really my thing. Really, so it's like a double whammy here. But I just want to see how it was, of course, and just talk about it, obviously, because just don't give it a shot. Anyway, as usual, I do have to talk about the plot, so let's just dive right into it, shall we? So, yeah, here we go. One thing I would definitely say is that yes, he gets arrested and he used to be dealt with by this organization. I guess they're kind of like police officers or something. And there's also this female version of Loki that's out there, I should say. But anyway, like I was saying, when it comes to this organization, and he meets up with this one individual. Yeah, he has his own backstory and whatnot. There's like multiple Lokis from different timelines because again, this was due to his meddling of the timeline and the whole multiverse, multi-dimensional, alternate realities or whatever you call it. And one thing I would definitely say is that um, when you just go on here going into the show blindly, that's going to be a bad idea. Yes, you're going to have to require at least some knowledge of the films themselves, so this entire thing can make more sense. Of course, what happened in the movies will affect here, and what happens here will affect the movies. And because from this point forward and whatnot, which again does make sense because they're trying to do a multiverse, expanded universe. I mean, when it comes to these types of storylines, so yes, you absolutely have to watch um, what had happened in the Endgame and the other movies, of course. So this basically is supposed to take place where Loki himself, he wants to have his role as the god of mischief in this new series that's supposed to take place after the events of Endgame. So immediately afterwards, of course, as a result from his own actions, of course the time traveling in Endgame, Loki is arrested by this authority for creating a branch in the timeline, and is taken to this headquarters following the expensive screening process by this judge. Of course, sentenced Loki to, of course, be taken care of. And there's this agent that intervenes that I was saying before a moment ago, where they become friends. Because you can say, well, at least acquaintances or whatever. And the female Loki does play a part in here, folks. And as I was saying, that there's gonna be more than one version of him, of course. And yes, which would of course be explored here, obviously. But yeah, and then the whole female version of him, it's just and that actually rubs him the wrong way because okay, I'm not gonna spoil it because it does happen much later in the series, towards the end of it, and I don't want to spoil anything really, but I just think it's kind of odd. I don't know, maybe just me just being complacent about it, of course. But anyway, point being, this agent that's going to help him out, he's trying to talk about him. He wants to be the best in everything. Of course, that's how Loki is. He wants to be the best in every little thing all the time because that's what he does best. And of course, he doesn't view himself as a bad person. And okay, maybe I guess that comes into question: is he really bad? Or what he's doing is questionable, of course. And what he has done in the Avenger movies, especially the first one, of course, comes in question, obviously. But he wants to talk about his ability to process free will in this predetermined timeline. How can you have free will when you have a predetermined timeline on a future? And it talks about his the agent shows him his intended future in the scared timeline, which of course his role of his death. If I know the door. He actually sees what happens to him when he dies, of course, in the end game. Because you have to keep in mind that he goes back in time before that happened, before he actually dies. So yeah, and then the whole bit with oh yeah, speaking of dying, uh, of course, the death of his Optopus mother. Of course, Loki's left with disbelief. Of course, this kinds of stuff. Of course, comes in and whatnot. So yes, I guess you would say a lot of things come into mind. And how scary is that? You know you're gonna die, and you know exact time, period, when and where, and not just die, you actually get murdered, and you know who does it. So that's a worrying thing to be over on your shoulders. That's something you have to think about, of course. But yeah, there's quite a bit I want to discuss here. I don't want to. I think I've said enough, really. But like I said a moment ago, you have to have at least some knowledge of what happens in the films to understand this a lot more. Really, just throwing it out there. If you're going in this blind, just completely blind, not really knowing anything, like hardly anything about the movies themselves, then you're gonna have a bad time because this is one of those things that's gonna really be really really reliant on you watching the movies. This show is not gonna explain at least not in great detail. Yeah, at least not in great depth in detail what happens in the movies. It makes references to the movies, obviously, but if it doesn't go further than some hints and references here and there, and that's about it. So it doesn't bother explaining too much what happens in the movies because the show assumes that you already saw the movies. I mean, okay, I guess that would make sense. Yes. But so don't expect this show to go in too much into the film's lore, what it had already accomplished, and what it's going to accomplish. Don't expect the show to explain further details when it comes to that. Again, just throwing that out there. Explain just trying to let you know what's going on. Of course, Loki, talk to these officers or whatever about how they got there, why are they there. Even though the officers or whatever they're supposed to be, these guards and whatnot, or whatever you're supposed to be, he does talk to them about the entire reason as to why they're working for this organization anyway. Because uh, he and the female Loki were actually going having their investigation. So yeah, just so you know. Anyway, it's not a terrible show, but it's not my cup of tea really. So I'll give this show an overall rating of a 6.8 out of 10. It gets a 6.8 out of 10 for me. And as always, thanks for watching and take care. Until next time, see you.